What if everything you've been searching for was already yours? This is the powerful story of a young man who mistook true wealth for poverty until one life-changing discovery revealed his father's greatest secret. Mr. Williams was a man who feared God with all his heart. Though he possessed great wealth beyond imagination, he chose a simple life, believing that true riches begin with faith, humility, and a relationship with God. Every morning, he shared these timeless lessons with his only son, Johnson. But Johnson had grown tired of hearing about faith. To him, prayer could never replace money. Deep inside, he believed success belonged only to those who chased wealth with their own strength. What Johnson never knew was that his father lived a double life. While the world saw an ordinary old man in worn-out clothes, powerful companies knew him as the respected owner of a vast business empire worth millions. Inside luxurious boardrooms, influential...
Despite his enormous success, he never allowed wealth to change his humble heart. Outside, Johnson carried a heavy burden of shame. His friends mocked the simple life his father lived, and every laugh pierced his heart. Little did they know they were laughing at the son of one of the richest men in the country. Each night, Mr. Williams knelt beside his bed and prayed, not for more wealth, but for his son's heart to return to God. His greatest treasure had never been money. It was Johnson's future. Then, without warning, illness struck. The strong and gentle father who had carried so much wisdom now lay weak upon a hospital bed, knowing that his time on earth was drawing to an end. Gathering what little strength
closer, son.
Mr. Williams called his son closer. There was one final message that Johnson desperately needed to hear.
With a trembling voice and eyes filled with love, he began speaking words that would one day change Johnson's life forever. He whispered, "When I am gone, go to my room. Beside my bed is my Bible.
Take the Bible beside
Never
my bed,
ignore
son.
it. It contains the answer to every challenge you will ever face. Inside its pages is the direction your entire life will need. Trust my words and trust God."
Promise me.
Johnson reluctantly promised his father he would do
promise.
exactly as he asked. But deep inside, he still failed to understand the priceless gift being placed into his hands. Moments later, the room fell silent. The machine stopped. Mr. Williams peacefully breathed his last breath, leaving behind
not just an inheritance, but a legacy waiting to be discovered. As tears streamed down Johnson's face, he believed he had lost everything. He had no idea that the greatest treasure his father could ever give him was still waiting, hidden inside the pages of a simple old Bible.
Months turned into years. Mr. Williams' final words slowly faded from Johnson's mind. The old Bible remained untouched, gathering dust as he convinced himself that faith belonged to the past and success belonged only to those who worked with their own strength. Filled with confidence, Johnson stepped into the busy world, believing that determination alone would build the future his father never gave him. He was certain that money, not God, was the answer to every problem. His first job application ended in disappointment. One closed door became another, and every opportunity he chased slipped through his fingers before it could become a breakthrough. Interview after interview,
We'll call
the
you.
answer remained the same. We'll call you. But the calls never came. Hope slowly gave way to frustration. Yet Johnson refused to remember his father's final instruction. With no other choice, Johnson accepted exhausting manual labor.
Under the scorching sun,
He carried heavy loads from morning until evening, believing that hard work alone would eventually change his life. But even the little he earned was taken from him. After a full day's labor, dishonest employers made empty promises and sent him home without a single coin. Once again, life reminded him how cruel the world could be. Day after day, Johnson searched his empty wallet, hoping to find enough for another meal. Instead, he found only disappointment, silence, and the painful reality of poverty. Hunger humbled him. For the first time, he begged for food. But even kindness seemed far away. The world that had promised success showed him no mercy. With nothing left to eat, ordinary water became his only meal. Every swallow reminded him how far he had fallen from the dreams he once pursued with so much pride. Those who once called themselves friends drove past without stopping. Some laughed, others pretended not to recognize him. Success had many companions, but failure walked alone. As darkness filled the streets, questions filled Johnson's heart. He blamed life, blamed people, and blamed circumstances, never realizing that the answer he sought had been waiting for him all along. Night after night, he slept with nothing but exhaustion and regret. The comfortable life he imagined had become a distant memory, replaced by loneliness and uncertainty. Back in Mr. Williams' room, the old Bible remained exactly where he had left it. Dust covered its pages, but the promise inside had never changed. Patiently, it waited for the day Johnson would finally open it. Completely broken, Johnson whispered to himself, "There has to be another way." For the first time, pride began to lose its grip, and desperation opened the door that stubbornness had kept closed for years. Alone in the darkness, Johnson sat only a few steps away from the answer to every problem he had ever faced. He didn't know it yet, but the greatest discovery of his life was waiting inside one forgotten Bible. His father's final words were about to become his new beginning. Subscribe to this channel for inciting stories.
Years of pain, rejection, and failure had finally broken Johnson. With nowhere else to turn, he returned to the house his father had left behind. The place he once abandoned had become his last hope. As Johnson stepped into his late father's room, time seemed to stand still. Everything remained exactly as Mr. Williams had left it, as though his presence still filled every corner of the room. Quietly, he began clearing away the dust and old belongings. Every object carried a memory, and every memory reminded him of the love he had taken for granted. Holding an old family photograph, Johnson could no longer hide his regret. For the first time in years, he truly missed the father whose wisdom he had rejected. Then something unexpected happened. As his hand brushed against the old Bible resting on the bedside table, memories buried deep within his heart suddenly came rushing back.
When I'm gone, I want you to remember.
His father's final words echoed through his mind with remarkable clarity. "When I am gone, open my Bible." Words he had ignored for years suddenly carried a weight he could no longer escape. With trembling hands and a humbled heart, Johnson picked up the old Bible. For the first time, he chose obedience instead of pride. As he slowly opened its worn pages, a gentle peace settled over the room. The book he had once dismissed now felt more precious than anything he had ever pursued. Page after page turned before him, until something hidden for years began to slip from between the pages.
What is this?
A sealed envelope fell to the floor. Along with it came official documents and a bank check bearing Johnson's name. His heart raced as confusion gave way to astonishment. His eyes widened in disbelief. The check was worth millions. Suddenly, Johnson realized his father had never been poor. The wealth he had searched for all his life had been prepared for him from the very beginning. One document after another revealed an incredible inheritance: companies, bank accounts, businesses, and valuable properties. Mr. Williams had entrusted everything to his son, hiding it where he knew Johnson would one day have to seek God before finding it. Then his father's voice echoed once more within his heart. The answer to every challenge is inside that book. At last, Johnson understood that his father had left him far more than money. He had left him wisdom, faith, and a path to life. Falling to his knees with tears streaming down his face, Johnson clutched the Bible to his chest. In that sacred moment, he realized the greatest inheritance was never the fortune hidden inside its pages. It was the God his father had spent his entire life trying to lead him to.